Hello. How are you?
Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Shannon, shining through, laughs and insight, shining so bright. Keeping it real, it feels so right. Real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, hello there to my co-host, Miss Tiffany. How you doing?
Hi. Good. I'm so excited for the show today. We have
I
such a
know. I
wonderful
can't
guest.
wait to talk to her. Oh my God, let's introduce her so she can get on, so we can get all this scoop. Tonight's guest is Dr. Clara-Dixon Britt. She was born in September 24th, 1921, and resides in St. George, South Carolina. She grew up there and attended the St. George Rosewood School, where she graduated in 1939. She married and had 5 children, and she has 5 grandchildren, and she has great grandkids. She loved vintage cars, printed photographs, and plants. And for a healthy life, she says, eat right and don't eat anything that makes you sick. But she does love a good fried pork chop, chicken wings, and sweet potatoes with crackling. So we can't wait to talk to her to get the scoop on what it's like to be 104 years old.
Wow.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Clara Dixon Britt. Well, tonight you are our Aunt Clara.
Aunt
So,
Clara, yes.
so welcome to the show, Auntie. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we're gonna try to get as much done as we can. We don't have a lot of time, but we want to get all the kind of information that we can. So we know you grew up in St. George, South Carolina. What? Tell us, what was it like growing up back there then, in your time?
Well, everything was different from now. We didn't have too much to choose from. We went to school, and our school wasn't but 3 months, one from the first to the third grade, with one room, one teacher, and it wasn't but 3 months. So then afterward, they kind of decided to build a school in the Texas community. Well, this school was built by Mr. Toomer, and he taught the school until his niece got old enough to teach, and then she taught. And then when we got into the third grade, then they built the school, and when time for the school to be open, the building wasn't ready, so they went to our church, St. Mark Baptist Church, until the school was finished. When the school was finished, then we went into this school. It was 3 rooms and 3 teachers, and one of the teachers was a principal. So we had moved up.
And you know what? Let me tell you, people are not going to believe this, but you love school so much because where you lived at, you said it was a lot of water. So when it rained, you would have to wade through the water. But you wanted to get there to have perfect attendance, so you would ride your bull to
Yes, I
school.
rode the bill.
I can't even picture you on a bull going to school.
Well, it didn't happen but one day. The next day, the water was going down, and then we could walk on to school. And and
But that shows. But see, but all seriousness aside, but the thing, all jokes aside, but the seriousness is now you see how you wanted to get to school so you could have perfect attendance, and like the kids and stuff today, some of them have driven to school and chauffeured to school, and they couldn't care less where they get to school or not. So that
yeah,
just shows you the difference when you determine that you want to get a good education, that you would
yeah,
do whatever you have to do to get that education.
yeah. And so then we moved it into the new school that year, and we had a new teacher. And at that time, you see, they wasn't keeping no records. And we decided that we were going to tell this new teacher that we was in the third grade. So we was a year behind because the teacher didn't know they had no records. So we stayed in the same grade in the new school that year.
Oh.
Then we went on through the rest rest of the year, and we had to in the school we had to learn uh, multiplication tables, and we had to learn a speech, and then we had to learn a Bible verse.
Mm-hmm.
Friday evening, we had to say our speech, but during the week we had to learn a Bible verse.
Mm-hmm.
So my first speech, I was after I got in high school, and I was telling them, I said, I remember my first speech, and they asked me to say it. And then when I said it, the English teacher said, read the rest of it. I said, what do you think? I'm in the third grade.
But you did get it read though, right? You end up get reading it for the teacher.
No, see, I said it. And then here, not long ago, I was to the Rosenball School, and I was telling them about my speech in the first grade. I mean, in third grade. And the
Uh-huh.
lady asked me, because she recorded on her phone. And I told her, yes, she could record it on my phone.
Mhm.
So I told her my speech, and then she recorded on her phone.
Yes. Well, I want to move on to raising your children back there. Then what was it like raising children back there then compared to how they
Well,
raise the kids now?
you see, when I come along with this first to the third, my mama would get up in the morning and she would cook breakfast. Then she would leave us something there to eat. And then when she come back home, she would cook supper. And then before we go to supper, we had to say our prayers. And then before we say our meals, we had to say grace. And that's the way we
Well,
come
I'm
along.
sure that you instill those same type of values with your children. So, how was it raising your children? Did you keep up those same morals and values that your parents did with you?
Yes, I did. Uh, we would say the grace in the morning when we go to bed at night. I taught them the Our Father prayers. You see, that's two things we had to learn. We had to learn the grace, and then we had to learn the Lord's prayers.
Hmm.
So Aunt Claire, I understand that you are still ushering at the church.
Yes, I ushers on 4 Sundays.
Hmm.
Yeah. You see,
Wow.
when when we usher, then we have to stand till the pastor gives his text. And when the pastor gives his text, then we sit down till time to open the doors of the church.
Hmm.
So yet so far I'm able to stand that space there, keep my
Hmm.
space until he gives his text.
Did
Wow.
somebody tell you that you shouldn't be ushering?
Yeah, one lady, I don't know who said it. I didn't look to see who said it, but I heard, I don't know whether she meant for me to hear it or not. You know how some people say something, and
Hmm.
I was, and I heard the person say, uh, "Old as she is, she shouldn't be ushering." And I heard her, but I didn't look to see who had said it. And I said, "The longer the Lord give me health and strength, I'm gonna usher." So I never did heard that no more.
Hmm. Well, sometimes you just have to put people in their place, or sometimes you just have to ignore it. But listen, you've made it to 104 by the grace of God,
Oh
and
yeah.
I know that the audience want to know what. tips that you have? What are you eating, drinking? Are you
Well, I'm not on a diet. I eat. I'm very picky when time to eat. There's so many things I don't eat, but what I eat enough to keep me going. And I try to drink a bunch of water. You see, you're supposed to have half of the ounces of your pound, how much you weigh, and
Oh,
that's what I go by with my water intake.
Okay.
Mm.
really?
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that's a tip that I didn't even know about myself.
That's I didn't know that. I know they say drink 8 glasses a day, but wow, that's good.
Well, you see, I had after school, after I graduated, I went to a nurse's aid school, and we learned that in the nurse's aid. We had a good teacher. She taught us more than just a book. You see, we had a book. We had to finish that book, and then she taught us things that wasn't in the book. You know,
Mhm,
some teachers, you know, they teach like above was books. That's where when I was teaching Sunday school, I taught my children other than the book,
mhm.
and that's why all of them now when they see me, they grown and they got children and everything. Then they tell me, oh, when they see me, they say, oh, there's my Sunday school teacher.
Oh,
Where,
wonderful.
where you see, I taught them more than the book.
Right.
When I finish my lesson, then I tell them to open the Bible, and I give them a star for bringing the Bible because back then the churches didn't have Bibles like they have now. You see in the back of the pews now they have hymn books and Bibles,
Mhm.
but
Mhm,
we didn't have it then. And and I would tell them to open the front of the Bible to the index, and I said, now I'm not gonna make you learn the Bible, books of the Bible, but I want you to get familiar with them so that when the pastor or whoever preaching give the text, then you know where to look for and learn which one is the old book and which one is the new one, so you can go in the new one or the old one, and then the index will tell you what page
you
that
end up.
book, and
Yeah.
then you have to go to the chapter.
Mhm.
So
Now,
that
Claire, do
way,
you feel, not cutting you off, but do you feel that might be a lot that's missing today with our children is that they're not taught the spiritual side enough, you know, that
uh,
help them in life?
yes, that's what I think. And then the parents not going where they came from. They're going their direction. You
Hmm.
see, they're not going how they was taught. And then their children don't know how to teach that they were taught. You see,
Hmm.
we were taught that on Saturdays we had to get wood. We didn't have no electric. We didn't, and we had to get wood to last till Monday. You could not pick up an axe or a hammer or a saw or anything on Sunday. You had to go to Sunday school and go to church. Then you
Hmm.
come home. You couldn't play baseball. You could play other little hopscotch and things, but you could not play baseball on a Sunday. Well,
Hmm.
now you see, sometimes Sunday is the biggest day for baseball. And they play it anytime now, Sundays and any other time. But then when I come along, you couldn't play baseball on Sunday.
Hmm.
And so many things you couldn't do. And you see those people, they couldn't read and write, so they had to go by what somebody else said. And they said that don't do nothing on Sundays.
Right.
And they said that you're not sober with a drop in you.
Hmm.
That's what they
Hmm.
would tell us when we were children. You're
Hmm.
not sober with a drop in you.
Hmm.
So as of 104, I never had a drink of whiskey. never had a drink of coffee, and I'm doing fine.
Wow. Not
I,
even coffee? Oh my
I
goodness.
we didn't have coffee. We had sassafras.
Oh, sassafras. Okay.
That's what we drank, sassafras.
Yeah.
We didn't have no coffee.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more Aunt Claire. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, it's Shannon.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Oh yeah, it's Shannon. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On Facebook, YouTube, it's on tonight. It's Prime for 30 minutes. Join the chat. Hot topics, movers, shakers. How about that? Smart, outspoken, don't miss a beat. It's true. Keeping it real with Shannon tonight. The hottest show in the city lights. It's Shannon. Oh yeah. It's Shannon. Keeping it real.
Hi, we're back. And we
Yeah.
was talking to Aunt Claire before we went to break. I really want to ask you, because you have lived this wonderful life and God has blessed you to get to 104. So I know you have seen a lot that has taken place, through the time of your heroes, Martin Luther King, the time when President Obama became our first black president. I mean, just with even all the stuff that's going on in the world today and people are suffering. And what would you say that people really need to do to get it together so this way we can survive and that our children can survive because we are losing our young people left and right.
Uh, we need to focus on the good things and not the bad things. You see, we know that God is God and there is no other. But there's so many people not believing in God and not doing what requires of God. You see, they say, take the Lord first,
Mhm.
and then you follow, and He leads, and you follow. Don't you try to lead Him, telling Him what to do, because you can't tell God nothing.
Mhm.
You can ask Him, pray, and worship Him,
Mhm.
but you can't take it in your hand
Mhm.
because you was following Him. But you see,
Mhm.
the most people now, they want to do what they want to do, and they want to go by this rule and want to make rules, and sometimes the rules don't work.
Mhm. Mhm.
But if you would take God first, and then He'll lead you, and then you can stay on the right path.
Mhm.
But you just can't stay out there on the right path by yourself. You
Mhm.
got to have something just like a child when they'll crawl. They can crawl by themselves, but then you got to kind of help them to make their first steps.
Right.
So
Right.
you got to have a leader, and then the leader got to be true.
Mhm.
Sometimes they say they're leaders, but then they're not leading in the right direction.
Right. But
And
some
if you
people, I find that some people, like, I don't even think they want to do the right thing. I mean, I feel that people know right from wrong. But it
that they.
seems like people want to go the wrong way. Like they want to treat you mean, and they so mean spirited and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
why? Why do you want to be mean spirit when you can be just as good and treat people nice as you can treat badly of whatever? I think people know right from wrong, but I just think the demons are running wild now.
That is letting it is a world and the devil carrying them in the wrong direction.
Hmm.
And some of them they just think they're right, but they're not right.
And see, even with our children, with the parents, I think the parents just need to get a little tougher with the kids. They say, oh, well, kids should have the right to speak. They should have the right to say what they want to say. That's okay, all well and good too. But these kids, a lot of these kids are very disrespectful, and they don't have no respect. They would talk back to you at 104 years old, just like they would be talking to their own friends. That's how
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
some of the kids are very disrespectful. And
Yeah.
so I think the parents just need to step it up and get a hold on. They say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't blame the parents." Black. Well, who else are we gonna blame?
Well, one of my students in school, in my Sunday school, and they had gotten to in the teens then and they were saying and one of the girls said she said my mama wanna go out with me, and the other one said um, my mama boss is my daddy. I said now hold it right now, don't say another word. I don't want to hear nothing about your mama and your daddy. You see, I don't know what else they would have said.
Hmm.
But I stopped them right then. Don't you say nothing about your mother and your father in my class. And
Hmm.
I didn't have to tell them but one time.
Hmm.
Because you see, they talk, and then it could have been true, but no, just don't discuss this in our Sunday school class.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
but what advice at your age now would you just say that you would give parents and particularly the young people.
I would tell them to take more time and teach their children and show them. But sometimes the the parents don't teach their children, then when their children um you know then their children don't know. Some of
Hmm.
them is just kind of like for not being trained. You're
Hmm.
supposed to train up a child where it would grow. That didn't say that it wouldn't turn, but you give it the training, and then after you give it the training, then some of that training will stay in them. But
Right.
now they're not training them. They just somebody was telling me the other day it was a small child, and that child was saying some words, and the mama just stand there like she never heard.
This is what I'm saying. When
Yeah,
back in the day, if you said something out of the way,
you get
well,
up
I
off.
know I can talk for myself. I don't talk about anyone else. I know back in the day when I would do something or whatever, something like that. Next thing I know, I would be done been slapped so hard until I probably was picking my teeth up off the floor or whatever because my
Yeah,
father didn't play. He didn't
you
play.
see, you see. Then, and if you was taught, then you know how to teach your children. Then your children. But if you wasn't taught, then you don't know how to teach.
Mhm.
No.
And back then, the parents they didn't like beat you up or all that kind of stuff and stuff like that. Most of the time, they would turn around and look at you. All they had to do was give you that look.
Well, oh yeah, the eyes. But now
Exactly. You
I
would
tell
get
them
that look.
now you can cut them out, and the children don't feel no attention.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I remember I had a parent, because I worked for the board of ed, and the parent was talking about the child, and the child told the parent to shut the f up. So I'm sitting there looking at her, waiting for her to get up and just knock him out if she had to or whatever, and she gonna turn around
Hmm.
and tell me what do I see how he talks to her,
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
don't say
looking
a
at her
word.
like, excuse me, I was waiting for you to do something.
Mhm.
and you doing nothing. Talking about look how he's talking to me.
Mhm.
So that means by the time he get 14, he was only 13. So by the time he get 14 and 15, he's going to be beating you up. That's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I don't
Mhm.
feel that the children are afraid of their parents today. They're not.
No, no, they're not afraid of. They're not
Mm,
afraid of.
mm-mm. Yeah.
No.
But the thing about it is, I want to hear about those, when you met the famous five blind boys. What was that like of
Oh,
Alabama?
and when we went in the place, and we were the second seat from first. We were right there. We saw them firsthand. And then when the program was over, then they went down into the lobby and they sat to a table and they were selling books and well, I don't know, CD or album, what I'm talking about, the small records. And so and they would line it up, and then you get the book and then you go shake the rest of them hand. So by the time I got halfway, I hand the man my hand like this. And then still he's shaking my hand. He took his hand and put on this side and that side. And he just hold my hand. He didn't shake it, he didn't do anything. But he was blind, he couldn't see me, but he had my hand.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, I said, this hand that you holding is 104 years old. He threw up his hand. He said, this lady is 104 years old. And everybody in the lobby stopped and looked to see the 104 years old.
Wow.
And then the next man I was supposed to be shaking his hand, and he threw up his hand and said, hold it, we got to make pictures. And everybody in the lobby come over to see the 104-year-old lady.
Wow.
And
Wow.
there I was standing, and they said, "Go behind us now, so all us can get in the picture."
Mhm.
So I went behind him, and then the one who was holding my hand, he put his hand on his shoulder, and he said, "Put your hand in my hand because you're gonna be my mom." And then another lady that she knowed me, she was with me. And when her mama died, she asked me, could I be her mama? And I said, yes, I'd be glad to be your mama. And every holidays and all, every time she sees something she think I want, and she just like my children.
Mhm.
Right there, always supporting me. And
And I also see you like the Atlanta Braves. That's one of your favorite teams.
oh yeah, one of the libraries I used to know 'em by name. hmm And
Mhm.
then we went there, and I was supposed to go to the Atlantic Braille dugout, they call it. But somehow or
Mhm.
another, they didn't get it straight, and I didn't get down there. Because when I was supposed to go down there, then I would have been on the television screen. But I didn't get, that didn't get the straight. So then they sent me a package afterward, and they
Mhm.
had the autograph of the T-shirts, and they give me a baseball, and you know a whole baggage of from the Braves.
Mhm. So
And,
tell us before our time ran out, like what is it that you like to do? What do you do? Besides hanging out and just enjoying your celebrity, you know, uh, because I see in South Carolina you're famous down there in St. George, South Carolina, and other parts of South Carolina as well. And everybody wants to meet you, and you're a celebrity. What can I tell you? I'm just so honored to be talking to a celebrity.
Well, I guess one thing that I can't remember if they want anything they want to ask me that I'm able to tell them. And one Sunday we was having communion and we have testimony, and a person had died. But
Mm,
see, when I come along, if a person died in the community, they didn't have any church that Sunday. So everybody was to the church that Sunday just like wasn't nobody there.
uh-huh.
And when I told the old people said termination.
Right.
So when I told them, I said, now when I was coming up, we didn't have service when somebody died. I said, now somebody dead, but we going on with service. I said, but we didn't have them then because you wasn't no undertaker. And when you died one day, you had to bury them the next. I
Mm-hmm.
said, now, like if somebody died Saturday, well, they had to bury them that Sunday because they couldn't keep them because wasn't no undertakers. And
Mm-hmm.
when church hour, a lady come to me, she said, I'm so glad you told that. She said, I never heard of dying one day, burying the next. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
that was news to me. I said, yeah, that's what you done. You died today, you buried tomorrow. I said, but so many in here, they don't know nothing about that. But wasn't no undertakers, and you had to bury them the next day. And they had to put them 6 feet, put them down 6 feet when you buried them. But now I don't know what they put them.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
they have a watch, you see. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they have a
Uh-huh.
watch. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I mean, I can't even I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom you being 104 years old. I mean, when I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about myself like, oh, what would it be like? I mean, I'm terrible already, talking. I said, but if I make it to 100, I'm gonna be no, I'm gonna be something to deal with. I'm telling you because I will be saying anything that I want to say, and if people say something to me, I will definitely say something back to them. Because I feel that once I hit that 150, I'm gonna say what I want to say when I want to say it. Don't care how you feel.
Go on, lady.
Because I feel that I have lived that long enough life that I'm going to be who I want to be and say what I want to say. I mean, I'm not going to be nasty to nobody because, I don't be nasty to people or anything like that. But I feel that, because sometimes they tell you now, oh, well, you need to watch what you say. You can't be saying that. You shouldn't say this. No, I'm going to say what I want to say and when I want to, when I want to say it because, well, look, I'm telling you that's why people can't tell me there's not a God. There
Mm-hmm.
ain't no way people could get to where you are, and it not
That,
be.
but to know now, um, if I wanna get up in the morning, I lay down in the bed. We had Bible study Monday through Friday. Then the lady had to have surgery on both our eyes, and we just have it now on Monday mornings, and then we got the rest of the week. But I try to do something every day. My mama said, when you get old, if you don't move around, you get stiff.
Yeah.
And I remember that. So I move around enough to not to get stiff. But I work a while, sit down a while, get up on my bed and go to sleep. I'm feeling like I'm free. I can do what I want.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Claire. You are definitely right about that walking around. Because I'm telling you, I was just telling my friend the other day that I was going to be interviewing you, and I said I'm really ashamed to even be on there interviewing her. I said because when I get up in the morning, sometimes I can't even walk when I get out of the bed. Get out of the bed because I am so stiff. Everything is hurting. Everywhere hurts or whatever, And I'm like, well, if I'm in this much pain now, what in the world gonna happen to me if I did make it to get to 100? I'd probably be like rolling on my tricycle somewhere or something.
So we were to the church and I said, well, one thing I thank the Lord for that I don't be in pain. I said, when I wake up in the night, I say my prayers. Before I get out the bed in the morning, I say my prayers because I
Hmm.
could have not have woke up. But the Lord woke me up. If He hadn't woke me up, I'd have still been in the bed.
That's
So
true. That's true.
I'm enjoying now when I want to get up. If I don't have to have appointment or something, I can stay right in that bed. I can stay in the bed at 12 o'clock.
Really?
I,
Really?
you see, I love my bed because when, when I did when I did my nurse's unit, I had to be on duty 6 o'clock. And
Wow.
if I just could have laid down in that bed, I had to be on duty 6 o'clock. So I couldn't lay down in the morning. But now I can lay up there.
That's see. Now what a good life. What a
Uh-huh.
good life. You don't have to get up. You don't have to go nowhere if you don't want to. I mean, look, you have to get up to do your celebrity stuff. So you have to get up, because they're going to be looking for you. And now people is looking for you to do interviews and stuff with you. I
Mhm.
mean, this is the life. This is
Mhm.
the life.
Mhm.
You can
And I
hang out
don't like
with your
and
children.
I don't like to cook, and my daughter cooks too much. She give me more than I can eat, and I just enjoy it because I don't have to put a pot on the stove.
But Aunt Claire, see, that's the good thing because see, when you think about it, see now you raised your children,
Uh
you
huh.
took care of them, you raised them to be, good adults and everything. So it's time now for the children to look after you. I mean, I tell my daughter that all the time, but she thinks that I'm supposed to be still looking after her. I be telling her I'm the queen now. You supposed to be looking after me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when we raise them, they get grown, they got kids of their own. I think it's time for us to sit back
Hmm.
and do nothing and just enjoy each day. No, I'm saying just like you say, you like to lay in the bed and you don't have to do anything. Your daughter cooks for you and all like
Hmm.
that. That's the life. I mean,
Hmm.
what better life could you want?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what better life could you want? But look, we're running out of time. Well, we'll run out of time, I guess. We run out of time. I've been talking, so I ain't been paying attention to the director. Well, let me tell you, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I thank Terrence, your nephew, who introduced me. He said, "You have to meet my aunt." And I said, "Well, I have to interview her." So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for taking the time to come down. And if it's the Lord's will, I will be there for the 105th birthday celebration.
Oh, thank you so
I
much.
will be there.
I hope I make
Cameras
it.
and everything. So I'm
Oh,
looking forward to coming down there, and I'm looking forward to Josie's cooking too, and Florenzo cooking too. So thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you, and I can't wait to give you my hug as well. So thank you. So thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you again, and I hope you'll come back again and talk to us. Another
Okay,
time.
I will.
Yes.
I'm available.
Okay, then. So thank you, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And you can also watch us every Saturday on Brooklyn Free Speech at 5:30 p.m. and 2:30 on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and every Tuesday night here live. So thank you
I
so much for joining us tonight, and as always, we'll see you next time.
did that before.